so you can see it for yourself. And then you'll see why he was getting so upset because they pulled his card. They really pulled his card and he was pissed about it. He did not like it. He did not like it. But what the attorney was saying, it's in writing. He didn't just make it up. Now, this is we fall under the guise of APA, but our APA is different. So he's operating under the American Psychiatric Association. We're operating under the American Psychological Association, and for me, the American Counseling Association. So you have this Goldwater Rule that they pulled up on him, and it basically called him out. And his response to it didn't make sense because this rule that was put into play, it doesn't apply to the other things that he was trying to call to the forefront. No, this applies to you. This came from the American Psychiatric Association. It didn't come from the American Medical Association. And that's why the attorney went back and said, well, are you familiar with AMA? And we ain't talking about the American Music Awards, or are you familiar with the American Medical Association's rules? Because you're supposed to be operating under both. You're a psychiatrist. You fall into that MD category. Psychiatrists are not PhDs. We PhDs. They're MDs. So are you familiar with the American Medical Association's rules? And he's a fellow for APA, for American Psychiatric Association. So let me I'm gonna make this big so you guys can see this. So let me take myself off. And I'm not gonna read this whole thing, but they have a sidebar, so we'll just go with the sidebar because this is what the attorney was addressing. The ethics annotation known as the Goldwater Rule. On occasion, let me see if I can see this. Hold up. Okay. On occasion, psychiatrists are asked for an opinion about an individual who is in the light of public attention or who has disclosed information about himself or herself through public media. In some circumstances, a psychiatrist may share with the public his or her expertise about psychiatric issues in general. However, it is unethical. Here's where it gets deep. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion unless he or she has conducted an examination and has been granted proper authorization for such a statement. This is what the attorney called him out on. I'm going to go down here. Maybe y'all can see it in bigger print. It's all the way at the bottom. Here we go. Here it is again. Hold up. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion unless he or she has conducted an examination and has been granted proper authorization for such a statement. Okay, this is why the lawyer got in his behind about this. With him coming up there speaking so bold, you done had all this stuff to say about this man. You done went and you darn near gave him a diagnosis on here. You can go and try to take it back at the end, but you diagnosed them, doctor. You diagnosed them on that stand, and you gave all kind of professional and unprofessional opinions about this man, so much so that in your unprofessional capacity, you called him an idiot. And then you try to go back and take it back when they called you on it. You called this man an idiot. There was nothing that was professional about that statement. This is why the attorneys called him out on that statement. And when he figured out where the attorneys were going, this is when his mannerisms, his attitude, everything about him changed. And that jovial person that he was on that stand when he was in teacher mode, he was in professor mode, all that went out the window, and he became street doc real quick. He was street doc because he was like, who are you to call me out on anything? And as a matter of fact, there was one statement where he was like, why are you questioning me about psychiatry? I just told you what it was. Meaning, I'm a psychiatrist. Don't question me on anything. I told you what it was. Trust me, I'm a psychiatrist. Who are you? You are an attorney. Don't try to tell me. And you know, we can get a little nasty with folks by that sometimes. But he was nasty of the nasty when he was up there because he got called out. Now, you want to let people know that you were a fellow and you had all these accolades and stuff like that when it came to the American Psychiatry Association and the other things that you were involved in. So it's fair game when they come and call you out about something that you, as a fellow of the American Psychiatric Association, should be knowledgeable of. So it's only right for somebody to come and call you out on that because you should be following the rules. You cannot be selective about which rules you choose to follow, which is what he said. Everybody doesn't follow everything. I mean, it doesn't apply. It does apply. If it don't apply, then let it fly. But that means if it don't apply for you, then that means it don't apply for anybody else. And anybody can run right here and say whatever they want to say, practice the way they want to practice, do whatever they want to do, and nothing can be said about it. We cannot make exceptions for Dr. Siegel. I'm just saying. So that's my little rant. That's my practitioner rant real quick. So let me go back into let me let you see what Dr. Siegel had going on. And I'm gonna let this one play a little bit because for me, I think that this was like the most important part of today's hearing. He was doing too much. He was doing too much. He was just doing too much. He was doing when I oh my goodness, y'all. He was too through. He didn't know what to do with himself. He was just through. Doc was through. I got so tickled. I'm gonna skip over his direct. Y'all can go and watch the direct. I want y'all to see how Doc lost his cool on the stand. This is interesting to me because y'all know we're supposed to keep our cool. Even on my channel, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep it cool. Even if you might want to curse somebody out for a minute, you got to keep it cool. Don't be sitting out here and never let him see you sweat. Never let him see you sweat. You got to do like Johnny. You will never see these eyes again. Like you got to be real cool. You got to be real cool with your stuff. So when Doc loses it, he was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yes. So when Doc loses it, it's like, oh, Doc said it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. So let me get into let me find the right one so I can just focus on that part. Let me see. Yeah, we'll start right here. Let me pause that right there and get you guys in the right place. If y'all need to get y'all a little drink or something while this stuff playing, because I'm gonna let this one play out a little bit, because y'all got to see Doctor in action. And I gotta watch too, because I might find something else that I missed while I was watching it live. But this was interesting. This was definitely it. Today was comical for me. But again, to also see, somebody from the field show their tail on the stand like that. Now I hadn't seen that before. I ain't never seen that like I haven't seen that before, so y'all have to excuse me for a minute. And please don't say I'm being unprofessional. I'm not coming on here as a clinical practitioner at this time. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm doing my own little analysis on what happened on today. So y'all just might have to look over me today because this was special. So let's make sure we got this up here.
All right. Yes, sir. Been around for almost 50 years, right?
Yeah, I'm 59. That sounds about right.
Yeah. And it's been around as a result of a presidential election that you referenced.
Yes.
And who has that rule? What organization maintains that rule?
They're talking about the gold rule.
An association you're a member of.
Associated by a member of, yes.
Aren't you a fellow or something?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, and this is an ethical rule, right?
It is an ethical rule. And yes, it's ethical. They say rules. It's an ethical guideline. Yes, they're guidelines.
Mm-hmm. And you know that over time, the American Psychiatric Association has amended the rules, so it's not just about diagnoses, but it's also about professional opinions.
Could you be more specific, say, about professional opinion?
You know what he's saying, Doc. You know what he's saying.
Let let me read this and see if you're familiar with it. It is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual based on publicly available information without conducting an examination. That's the rule, right?
If you're reading it directly, I will believe you.
Okay.
You know that's the rule.
However, a diagnosis is not required for an opinion to be professional. So my question is, it's not just diagnosis that this Goldwater Rule applies to, it's professional opinions.
So again, I'll reiterate that would come down to essentially nullifying witness testimony, expert witness testimony, without direct evaluation. And as we know, it didn't happen. But regardless of that, the whole expert witness testimony thing would be basically rendered null and void.
The rule, in fact, contemplates that issue, doesn't it, sir?
Again, I'm just telling you the answer to the question. When you're reading those statements, I'm telling you the response by the other side, who is publishers also, is that if that was the case, there could be no expert witness testimony in the courtroom.
Psychiatrists are ethically prohibited from evaluating individuals without permission or other authorization, such as a court order. That's the rule, right?
Again, if you're reading that, then I have to believe you're not misrepresenting it.
Let me press pause for a second. Y'all, did we not just read the statement verbatim? Is that not what the statement says? This is what made me ill about him, because you're getting up there in a professional capacity. Don't get up there trying to BS the system. Like, don't do that. Do not do that. You know exactly what this guideline is, since you don't want to call it a rule. You know exactly what. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. If you don't agree with it, just say you don't agree with it. But don't get up here BSing, and then you try to bring all the other expert testimonies in here saying that all of the expert testimonies based on this would be null and void. No, this is from the American Psychiatric Association. Psychiatrists, it has nothing else to do with anybody else's field. This is from your people. This is from your people, of which you are a fellow. So stop trying to BS these people on this stand. Stop it.
And I would come back to, again, then this whole thing on expert, we might as well get rid of all the expert witnesses we've had throughout all of time for court proceedings. Because the thing you're saying is, unless a court orders it, and that's what you just said, or the APA said, then therefore expert witnesses cannot do an evaluation based on an observation of the medical records. Insurance companies cannot do evaluations solely based on the medical record, where their doctors rendering professional opinions. So at the end of the day, you are essentially saying that unless someone has directly evaluated it, this whole medical system we have, this whole legal system we have, is null and void.
I'm not saying.
No, yes, you are, sir.
You are. Give me a second, and I'll give you more than a second. What I'm saying and what I am reading to you.
Hold on. Okay, let's just look at Doc's face for a minute. Doc is pissed off. Doc is pissed off because that man came at him with facts. He came at him with straight facts. And again, if that's what it says, and if you're saying this, then it's not if he's saying this. That's what it says. There's no in between. Now, in this particular situation, it seems like he may be exhibiting some narcissistic traits. I'm just saying. I ain't saying he's narcissistic. I'm saying he might be exhibiting some narcissistic traits in this particular moment. You get that. Come on, Doc. Doc. Really? Really? And he is mad about this thing. This look and his demeanor is, how dare you question me? He said later that Johnny had a sense of entitlement. No, here's the entitlement. Here is the entitlement. And when you hear the slight that he makes towards his attorney, it's probably a few minutes into this. This is the entitlement. How dare you question me? Like I'm the god of it all. Don't sit down somewhere. You know what that man said was facts. He was not giving you any opinion. He read to you exactly what this thing said, because you and the attorneys that you work for brought up the Goldwater Rule. So since y'all brought it up, they went ahead and finished it. And they finished it by giving you the actual words that were on that paper, what those actual rules are, or guidelines, as you want to say it. Like, he's giving you exactly what's on there, and you're sitting up here trying to BS these people on the stand, and it's just not a good look. And for me, everything that he said in that direct that made him credible, this cross-examination made everything that he said just erased everything that he said for me, in my opinion. But let me hush.
Is a rule by your organization that takes into account that there could be court orders that would permit the exact kind of evaluation that you say I'm eliminating.
And I think we're going in circles, because I think I just said that means expert witness testimony would not be allowed, and the branch of forensic psychiatry would be especially hindered. And we know the branch of forensic psychiatry does not prohibit that. So I am a member of the APA. That doesn't necessarily mean every single thing they put in there, everybody has to uncategorically agree with, because clearly that's not the case.
Did you agree in your deposition that the professional opinions you rendered were inconsistent with the Goldwater Rule?
Yes.
My first was inconsistent. If we're saying that if the Goldwater Rule says, and I very much said that during the deposition, that the Goldwater Rule was made for presidents and public figures such as that, but regardless of that, because that's what it was made for. It's not made for Hollywood, but I'll even take them as the depths of public figure.
It's a public figure.
What I'm saying to you is that the Goldwater Rule is saying we cannot do any expert witness testimony in our field. That is exactly what the Goldwater Rule is saying, based on exactly what you read. And I'm just telling you what you are saying that rule encompasses.
What I'm asking you, sir, is did you comply with the ethical requirements of the APA when rendering the professional opinions that you've rendered today?
It is a requirement of the APA. It is not the requirement of the APA. Secondarily, in order to not, we wasted our whole morning because there was an expert witness before me. There's expert witnesses everyone brought in. So all I'm saying to you, that means the whole field of medical legal law is corrupt and unethical for engaging in an act that the APA clearly says we should not do. So if you're saying that, then the answer is yes, I'm agreeing with that statement.
That was in reference to you, Doc, psychiatrist.
You're agreeing that the APA would deem your testimony and your professional
Look at the man in the front, not his
unethical.
I'm saying you are saying that I'm an expert witness. I'm saying as an expert witness, and solely as an expert witness, that guideline is permitting that from occurring. I would say then that the whole field of expert witness testimony, again, would be disavowed by what you are quoting in the Goldwater Rule. And we know that's not the case, because if it was, we would not be allowed to do it.
Cut the bull, Doc. Everybody's testimony would not be disavowed. Your testimony would be disavowed. Because if we're going by the guidelines of APA, then you have got up there, you're supposed to speak in general. In general, you're not supposed to be getting into all these details and all these specifics. That's why you're getting up there giving your opinion versus giving actual factual information based on some assessments and some evaluations that were done because you didn't do them. So I'm getting choked up. That's where all the opinions are coming from. And that's why he's so pissed off right now, because he knows that they got him by his neck right now with what they're saying. That he can spin it as many times as he wants to, y'all. But this is what has him so worked up, because he didn't expect these people to go and do their research on this. And again, I am the doctor. How dare you question me as the doctor about what I'm saying, because I am the know-all and be-all when it comes to this psychiatric thing. So how dare you question me on this? And this is why he's getting so upset. His facial expressions, he cannot hide it. It's like that little piece of hair that's up top, like it just keep going higher and higher the more upset he gets. This right here is so disrespectful. It's so unprofessional because he is not being true while he's on that stand. A lie about omission is still a lie. Like you're not being truthful while you're on that stand. And do believe that if somebody came before the APA with some issues that they had going on or whatever, then they would hold these people to these rules that they have in place. But you sitting up here saying that the rules don't apply to everybody. I guess it's just when it concerns you. I don't know. Let me carry on.
And you said the rule was for presidents, right? And
That was initially for
figures.
president, yes.
But and the name of the rule came from that. But the rule says it is unethical for a psychiatrist to offer a professional opinion about an individual. That's right, sir. It's not just presidents. It's
Not just presidents.
figures. It's individuals.
Funny, it was named after the. According to your logic, if you don't put something in the title, it's not true. That's what you told me this morning, I believe, about my intimate partner violence. So what I would say to you,
Patty,
sir, is that if you say this about an individual, again, any court would have to render an expert witness testimony invalid. Any doctor that reviews charts would have to render it invalid. I can go on the list of docs that do not see or interview patients directly, and that's a violation. So basically, you are saying that unless you do a direct clinical evaluation, then all of the field of forensic psychiatry and all of managed care is
Not
doing
so.
an unethical violation.
press pause. Okay. So if you get a record in, let's say somebody was transferred in, or let's say somebody is new, and they already have a history of some stuff going on, and you get that previous record. You get that previous record, but whatever you do is going to be based on the evaluation that you give them upon you seeing them. You may try to go and you'll look at what they see and kind of see if it matches up to what you have going on, but you don't go and base your whole clinical experience with that person based specifically off what somebody else said. You have to do your own evaluation with that person. Upon them becoming your client, you got to do an evaluation with that person. You can't just go off, and you for darn sure can't go on the stand going to testify to what somebody else said. You can't, oh, well, he said, no, you cannot go testifying to what, just like the minute they say, well, such and such, it's hearsay. No, that is not your, what did you find? What were your findings? Not what these other people said, not what was in somebody's deposition. What were your findings? See, it's completely representing himself and the whole field, all fields, when it comes to that, because that's not how this works. That is just not how this works. And he just got jammed up. And instead of him just coming out and saying, you know what, you got a point there. He just want to keep this mess going when at this particular juncture, he is in the wrong. He is so wrong. And he can just let it go, but that's why I say I'm seeing some narcissistic tendencies in this particular situation myself, even with him trying to out-talk the attorney. Let it go. Just let it. You know what? You're right. You're right. I can see. You're right. And just so you can go on to the next question, because right now, this is not a good look. And once again, I say the more he talks, the more his previous testimony, no bueno. No bueno.
Because we are not seeing the presence. We deny patients medications all the time without seeing them. We deny patients treatments, unfortunately, without seeing them. And I'm on the receiving end of that. So the answer to your question, again, unless you were saying to me that all of this is unethical, which is what you are saying. This is how I'm interpreting what you are saying to me. That unless you do the evaluation directly yourself, therefore, it could not be considered ethical. And I'm telling you how that's applicable to not just expert law, but also managed care. It applicable to multiple branches of medicine. Hospital duration of hospitalization status.
Look at Johnny like this,
So
bull.
tell me where you want me to end this.
Well,
Sir.
why don't we talk about what you just testified to? Because I didn't ask you anything about that. I asked you whether, under this rubric, under this principle of medical ethics, have you acted unethically?
Yes.
No, as an expert witness, I have not acted unethically. And if you want the jury to believe that expert witnesses are unethical, then I guess that's for them to
Gaslighting.
That's
This is gaslighting,
Let's go
y'all.
to the next
What
one.
he just did. That let me take this. That was gaslighting. I want to take this back. Just hold on. This is look at Johnny's face right there. Johnny said, what the hell? But this is the perfect example of gaslighting. He just turned around and tried to gaslight the jury. Y'all, dog.
Unethically. Yes or no?
No, as an expert witness, I have not acted unethically. And if you want the jury to believe that expert witnesses are unethical, then I guess that's for them to decide.
Yes,
that's
or no,
for them
sir.
to
You
decide.
said no. Let's go to the next question.
Okay.
Right? Psychiatric diagnosis occurs in the context of an evaluation based on thorough history-taking examination and, where applicable, collated or collateral information. You'll agree with that?
I believe I said that earlier, yes.
Yeah. And it's a departure from the methods of the profession to render an opinion without an examination and without conducting.
That man just said he crazy. Hold on. I got it. I think I just read his lips on this one. Y'all tell me if y'all think I'm wrong. I'm gonna take this back. It's like Johnny Attorney just whispered over to him and said he crazy. Let me just let me hold on. Where is this at? Okay, let's see.
Or collateral information. You'll agree with that?
I believe I said that earlier, yes.
Yeah. And it's
Right
a
now.
departure from the methods of the profession to render an opinion without an examination.
He said he's crazy. Did y'all see that? Hold on. Let me see y'all comments. Is that what he said? Is that what he just said? Or am I tripping? Did he just look over there and tell Johnny that the man was crazy? I'm gonna take it back one more time. Johnny Attorney just leaned over to Johnny and said he's crazy. Y'all watch now. Watch. Tell me if I'm wrong. This attorney right here, he's gonna lean over to Johnny and say he's crazy.
And it's a departure from the methods of the profession to render an opinion without an examination.
Right now. Y'all saw it.
Hold on. To render an opinion without an examination and without conducting an evaluation.
Am I tripping? He said he crazy. Oh my God. I told y'all today was lit. You hear me? It was so much going on. None of the cameras caught that. Y'all got that on Carolina Diamond. None of the cameras caught that. That man, he leaned over John and said, he crazy. Bless his little heart. Let me go on back into this. I told you I got too much time on my hands right now.